I use the word solipsism just to get you in here because I suspected that you didn't know what it meant. But solipsism is like a self-defining belief system where there's no arguing it because it's self-defining. And it turns out that our reality as human beings. We look for evidence for things that we want to believe. We perceive things that are already in our consciousness and in our world, right? When the my daughter's mother was pregnant, I suddenly started seeing pregnant women everywhere. That's a common thing. What's on our hearts and our minds is what we tend to bring to our consciousness because it's already there. So this means that when we challenge our own belief system, we're actually challenging how we are manifesting and putting together our whole worldview. Change then can take on a catastrophic feel to it. It's like, oh man, if I change anything, everything will change. And to hold it together takes so much work. It's much easier and better to be like a child and to be open to changing reality. And when I see people who have beliefs that are really different from mine, it's easy for me to just dismiss them as fools because I am so steeped in my own bias. I actually met this guy online and we were debating climate change issues. And at one point, I actually called him a moron because he was in total denial of it. And my belief system said, he's just an idiot for not looking at the science. But the guy is a scientist. In fact, he is a stealth bomber pilot. So he's an extremely talented, smart guy. And I actually ended up meeting him in person somewhere. We don't live in the same state. And I liked him. He really was smart. And what we came to understand with each other was that even though we each think we're scientists, we really brought our own bias. I was looking for references that supported my belief, and so was he. And then it's like, okay, then we have to look at the reputation or the reliability of those sources. And when I could show him that there were some energy companies that were presenting their version of climate change and all that, he was more likely to listen to it because they were almost speaking against their own vested interest, trying to change their approach, etc. But it was very humbling because I actually called this really smart, capable guy, I called him a moron. Thankfully, he accepted my apology, and I guess that made me the moron for being so stuck in my own bias. How it is for me is just how it is. It's something I don't like when I see that in other people. And, duh, here it is in me. So solipsism is like a really tight version of somebody whose mind cannot be changed because their system of belief feeds on itself and there's no cracks in it whatsoever. It's impossible to talk to somebody like that. And I really just don't want to be somebody like that. But really, just to be open, it's humbling to be corrected and to emerge into a worldview that's really different than how I thought before. But isn't growing up all about that? Okay, it's a message. Live and let live. We're together and we don't have to be identical to make that work.